Hello, everybody. It is a great honor for us to be here at the FEL, and it is a great pleasure also for us to present the research that we carried out. This is my colleague, Alan Pacheco.
Hello.
And my name is Miguel Herbert Vargas, and we are going to present today a very interesting topic that has been very necessary to inquire for us as language teachers. How many times do we face the situation as teachers that we come into the classroom and one of the students says, Professor, I have a question. I saw this structure. I heard this, they heard this gonna, this gotta, this ain't, these words. And we usually find all these situations that we don't know what to do because we are supposed to teach the standard form of the language. And those forms are non-standard. So that's why we wanted to focus in this study on EFL teachers and students' perceptions regarding the teaching and learning of non-standard English. Okay, now this is a case study on the perception of teachers and students regarding the teaching and learning of non-standard forms. The rationale for this study, was based on the interest and motivation which aroused by personally experiencing the reality that many non-native speakers face when they have to verbally communicate in a foreign context, okay? As well, since the beginning of our teaching careers, we have used methodologies. I think most of us have used methodologies in which standard English is the primary and predominant form of the language, and it's a very common thing, I know. Also, students have been very curious about the kind of English that they hear or they face in external means, such as movies, TV series, music, etc. Okay, so that was the motivation to do this project. The objectives for this project was, well, in general, to analyze and explore how EFL teachers and students in Mexico perceive the teaching and learning of non-standard English. Also, it was important to investigate the ways in which EFL teachers may teach or have taught non-standard forms, and if they have, which have been the difficulties, okay? Next one. Well, the research questions by which this paper was based on, was what are EFL teachers and students' perceptions regarding the teaching and learning of non-standard English in Mexico? And the sub-questions were, what are EFL teachers and students' attitudes towards non-standard English? Also, how meaningful could the learning of non-standard English be for EFL students? And finally, how could EFL teachers teach or have taught this form in the classroom? Next one is the literature review on which this paper, on which this research was based on, is called linguistic prescriptivism, all right? Here, we discuss different issues. For example, first of all, the types of English. You know, there is standard English, and Kerswell state that standard English is considered as the most widely spoken dialect of any English-speaking country that is recognized by educational and political institutions. We all know that. That's what we focus on as teachers in a formal instruction context. However, we also wanted to focus on non-standard English, in which, well, where Nordquist defines as a dialect that draws negative attention to itself. That is, educated people might judge the speaker of such a dialect as socially inferior, lacking education, and so on. This is just one of the statements by one of the researchers. However, we know non-standard English is as used as standard English, right? Let's see. Another point that we focused on was the teachers and students' attitudes. Regarding language attitudes, Llamas et al. Posit that they are dominant by powerful ideology positions, you know? So we here found that language is ruled by ideology, all right? Standard English is ruled by ideology. So that's the ideal English that everybody should speak. It's not bad, and there's no wrong or right in this case. It is just their perspectives. Also, we focus on the teaching and learning of standard English, all right? This type of English is called standard because it has undergone, according to Trudgill and Hannah, it has undergone standardization, which means it has been subjected to a process through which it has been selected, codified, and stabilized in a way that other varieties have not, okay? Even though it is widely accepted, it is the most widely accepted form of English, this does not mean it is spoken the most, all right? Also, we focus on the teaching and learning of non-standard English. Here, according to Carroll, they state that he states that non-standard English might not be usually acknowledged in the teaching and learning of a foreign language, since most English textbooks focus on samples of standard American speech or British received pronunciation, regardless of the name or face of the speaker. Also, Kurzweil states that the exposure of non-standard English could enrich EFL students' comprehension, appreciation, and awareness of the linguistic varieties that exist in speech. Finally, in this matter, Huang and Heap state that language teachers may at least familiarize their students with other kinds of English, right? And then we focus on the topic of accent and pronunciation in non-standard English. Arrieta investigated the perceptions of and attitudes of two groups. The overall results show that the perceptions of teachers range from somewhat negative to mildly positive. Also, students' results were more encouraging than their teachers, as students were generally more enthusiastic about standard English, about non-standard English, sorry. In this case, now we are going to present the methodology for this research.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Now, according here to the methodology, next one. It is a qualitative research approach. That's the type of approach that we use. It is a case study, as my colleague mentioned it, and the data collection methods that were used were field notes, interviews, and questionnaires. Next one. The data analysis, well, when we obtain all the necessary information, we also apply a classification and categorization approach in order to give it a story-like structure of interpretation. After that, we also use coding, the three types of coding, which are open, axial, and selective. Okay, the research contest on this investigation was carried out in a private bilingual school in the southeast of the state of Veracruz, and it was aimed at in the high school level. The participants were 5 EFL teachers from 25 to 35 years old. All of them had a BA in English language, and they had between 2 to 5 years of teaching experience. And they were 10 EFL students from 17 to 18 years old, teenagers, which were or had the B2 English level, and also this was aimed at this level, which is B2. Now, the research procedure, the first thing that we did was to pilot the interviews and questionnaires. After that, we applied the official research methods, and finally, the analysis of the collected data. Okay, now what we found here from these, from our research and all the collected data is regarding the student perceptions, was their awareness, and it's mentioned that most of the students were little aware of this type of English, and only 2 of the participants were familiar with non-standard English, as we can see here in these extracts. Next one, please. Another theme that arose were the attitudes towards non-standard English. Most of the participants had favorable attitudes towards this kind of English. As we can see here, it keeps you motivated to keep learning. It will be more useful for our daily life, and language wouldn't be so systematic. Next one. Also, the meaningfulness of learning non-standard English, according to the students' perceptions, is that only 2 of them answered that it did not have an impact on their education. The rest stated the contrary. As we can see here, not really, I have never focused myself on seriously using it. Yes, because I have understand people better. Now, the learning non-standard English in Mexican classrooms, the majority answered that it is necessary to learn this type of English due to various reasons, such as its wide use around the world, usefulness, and better language preparation, okay? One does not always need to speak formally to be prepared for various situations. The difficulties in learning non-standard English, as it can be seen, most of them, the students share that comprehending some aspects of vocabulary and grammar were the difficulties that they had when being in contact with this type of English. I don't understand some abbreviations of words, and I find it difficult to understand some different structures in English. And the perceptions of different English accents, they mention answers of the mentioned answers of the participants reflected that they had positive perceptions towards accents that may not be considered standard. I think it's normal. It's like Spanish. It is okay that all individuals have different accents. That is diversity, according to them. Now, regarding the EFL teachers' perceptions, the first theme that emerged was the familiarization with non-standard English. Only 1 teacher was not familiar with non-standard English. The rest had already been involved with it in different ways. Yes, I am aware of it, but I don't know how to verbally use it. I'm familiarized with it due to its daily use in movies, TV series, podcasts, and trips. Teaching non-standard English in Mexican classrooms, the topics that emerged from the data were highlighting exposure of non-standard material, English material, and external resources according to the teachers. I have taught it in the way that my students ask me if there's no another form to say a specific word. I have brought to the class videos, role play activities, some YouTube audios so that my students can identify how and when non-standard English is used by exposing them to all kinds of material. The difficulties in teaching, according to them, is that the majority of the EVL teachers did not have any problems when explaining this kind of English to their students. Only 1 professor stated that she observed that her students struggle. As we can see here, yes, because my friend doesn't follow grammatical rules. Even I had a hard time when I first spoke to her because I was not used to her type of English. Okay, and now the meaningful teaching of non-standard English, it was stated that the educational institution should consider at least familiarizing their students with this kind of English. I think that it's very meaningful because if they have the opportunity to travel abroad, it is unlikely that they're going to use the English that they learn in textbooks. Very meaningful. Sadly, the syllabus does not consider this type of English. The teacher's attitudes towards different English accents. In regards of this, most of them interviewed teachers show positive attitudes about this. As we can see here regarding accents, it's something particular because an accent is a cultural aspect, a trait that one could use to identify where a person might come from. And here, the perceptions of the use and teaching of non-standard English. The teachers were in favor of teaching and using non-standard English, as you can see here in extracts. These perceptions could be related to a study by FEL and Martin, and their research suggests that English language teachers should consider other varieties of English and not only the ones that are considered as standard. Next one, please. Okay, now the similarities and differences of both these participants that were found is that 3 similarities were found. Is that both the teachers and students had positive attitudes towards the use of non-standard English. They highlighted, both of them highlighted that it has been meaningful to learn this type of English, and their perceptions and attitudes regarding accents was also optimistic. 2 differences, one of them is that the majority of the EFL teachers were more familiarized with non-standard English than the EFL students, and the teachers mentioned that when teaching this type of English, their students did not reflect problems or doubts. However, more than half of the students stated that they had some difficulties regarding comprehension of vocabulary and grammar. Okay, now regarding the discussion and reflections, we can state, or it was stated, that the teaching and learning of the English language has had a major impact on schools all over the world. We might be aware of this. Most of what appears in print in the English-speaking world, such as textbooks, newspapers, and magazines, are written in standard English, according to Trujillo and Hanna. In contrast to what Huang and Heap reported, the EFL students of this investigation stated that they aimed to also learn non-standard English and to use it in real-life communication, rather than only learning what their textbooks have to offer. And Farrell and Martin reported that EFL teachers from this dissertation suggested that other varieties of English should be considered when teaching their students. And the conclusions, we found that the findings and results of this study demonstrated that both teachers and students expressed positive attitudes towards the use of non-standard English. It has been meaningful to learn and to teach non-standard English inside and outside the educational institution, according to them. And the investigate the perceptions towards non-standard English of these types of participants from different levels, such as from middle school to university and from A1 to C1, with the aim of analyzing the differences or similarities between these groups. And this is our investigation regarding non-standard English in Mexico. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.